Hello, onliners. All right, this is your video for the 3 days before Thanksgiving. I've shown you my plot summary. I'll just go over it real quickly again for Hamlet. So it starts off with the ghost showing up. We now know the ghost was murdered by Claudius, so Claudius could get the throne. He already had Gertrude, apparently, an affair. And, excuse me, we know that Claudius is guilty because he told us that in an aside in the play. Hamlet's still really very depressed. You read the To Be or Not to Be scene, hopefully, this week. And that means he was thinking about killing himself. Talks about the slings and arrows of life and how they're almost too much sometimes, slings and arrows being the bad things that come at you that you have no control over. But he does decide to be, thankfully, since suicide is not the answer. Also, in the meantime, some actors showed up, and he knows them, he loves them, he's seen them played before, so he's going to have them play the murder of Gonzago in front of everyone, and he changes some lines, puts a scene in there of exactly what the ghost said that happened to him in the garden. He's going to watch his uncle. In the background here, there's Ophelia, who is in love with Hamlet. Hamlet apparently loved her too, because there's lots of love letters, but she's been told he's a player. We have spying happening, or voyeurism. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are spying on Hammy. The parents are paying them to do that, and Hamlet knows that. He calls them out on it. Polonius and Claudius spy on Hamlet and Ophelia. Hamlet knows they're there, and he knows that Ophelia is going along with it, and makes him feel betrayed by her too, and just comes at her pretty hard. And then get thee to a nunnery speech where he tells her he didn't ever really love her. Actually, he's just really hurt. It's kind of like Romeo and Juliet, where they're at cross purposes, and then she gets really hurt and thinks, oh my gosh, my dad and my brother were right, he's just a player. And so she's heartbroken. Okay, and then we have Polonius sends Ronaldo to spy on Laertes, his son. Horatio and Hammy are going to watch Claudius during the play, so more spying. And then Polonius is planning on spying on Hamlet and Gertrude in her room. I call her Mammy. Hammy and his Mammy. All right, so, and I didn't add anything else to the symbols besides the ghost, and then power would be the crown. But I am going to add this. So during the play, the king's watching this scene of what he did, and he wigs out. As you would too, if you thought you murdered someone especially, and no one saw, and with poison in their ear, how could it possibly be that you're seeing it in front of you? He knows somehow that Hamlet knows, and he is just incensed, furious. In my class, we didn't get to the scene with Gertrude and Hamlet where they have it out, so we'll probably do that on Monday, and then so I'll talk more about that next week. But just in case you did, everybody's pissed off at the end of this play. Hold on, I'll turn this around. So Claudius is mad because he knows somehow Hamlet knows, because he had the actors act this out. Gertrude knows that she was being made fun of, at least. I don't think she thinks that Claudius killed her husband, ex-husband, former husband. But in the play, she's obviously the one that was the queen who fell in love with the murderer really quickly. So she's really mad and calling for Hamlet to come to her room and talk to her right now. And the king's really mad, and he storms off. So when Hamlet shows up to talk to his mom, it's actually a great scene of a blow-up between a mom and son. Hopefully you never had anything like that that's that serious, but I know my son and I have had some blowouts ourselves. So Hamlet comes in. He's ready to hand it to her, and she starts with saying, "You've offended your father," meaning Claudius, and that just sets him off because Claudius is not his dad, and he hates Claudius. And then he just goes for the jugular. She tries to stand up for herself and say, "How dare you talk to me like this? Don't you remember I'm your mom?" And then he just fillets her, all the things that have been bothering him. He takes 2 pictures. One of them is a picture of his dead dad, and then one of them is a picture of Claudius, and sticks them in her face and is like, how could you go from this to this? What made you do this? And then he references her having sex with his uncle and how disgusting that is, and that she needs to repent. Anyway, she gets really upset and thinks he's going to kill her because he's that mad. And then she starts screaming. And then Polonius is worried because he's behind the curtain spying again. And he makes a sound. And Hamlet, because he's so enraged, takes out his sword and just stabs through the curtain and ends up killing Polonius. Here he is, not able to kill anyone, especially Claudius. He's supposed to kill Claudius. He actually had a chance. I don't know if you read that. Claudius, right after the play, decides to try praying because he feels bad. And he's on his knees. And Hamlet sees him on his knees. Perfect opportunity. He probably should have just waxed him right then. But then he starts saying, well, he's praying, so he's probably going to go to heaven. And my dad didn't even get to do that. So I'm going to wait until I catch him doing something bad. Which is probably just a cop-out because I don't think Hamlet has it in him to kill anyone except for Polonius, and that was kind of by accident. He had to be in a rage, like seeing red, to do that. Okay, and then right after Hamlet leaves and stops the idea of killing Claudius while he's praying, Claudius gets up from his knees and says, I tried praying, it didn't work. I don't feel anything, so forget about it. So after Polonius is killed, Gertrude is freaking out, obviously. And also Hamlet, you have to think too, he just killed his girlfriend's dad. So that's another problem. It's not a good thing. Plus, he sees his dad's ghost again in front of his mom and is talking to the ghost. You'll have to ask yourself why it is that Hamlet can see the ghost here, but not his mom. Whereas in the beginning of the play, all the watchmen could see the ghost. In fact, they told Hamlet about the ghost. They saw it several times. But in this scene, only he can see it. So try to figure out the answer to that. What's up with that? But the ghost is basically saying, hey, look at your mom. She feels really bad. But you also have taken a long-ass time and, fulfilling my wish for you to get vengeance for me. And you need to make sure that you get back on that track. And that is how that scene ends. Lots going on. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you later.